1800 hours Pakistan Standard Time. Assalamu alaikum. This is Radio Pakistan. The news read by Daman Zaman. The headlines. On the International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking, the Prime Minister has called for international collaboration to limit the proliferation of life-threatening drugs. The Army Chief has been conferred upon King Abdulaziz Medal of Excellence for significant contributions in defence cooperation between Pakistan and Saudi Arabia. Kyrgyzstan says the CASA 1000 project on completion will meet the energy needs of Pakistan and other involved parties and strengthen regional connectivity and cooperation. The President has urged the international community to make all possible efforts to prevent torture and provide redress to the people of the Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir. In the Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir, the All Parties Hurriyat Conference has categorically rejected the Indian propaganda about the so-called normalcy in the occupied territory, saying India has continued genocide of Kashmiris. The three-day annual summit of Group of Seven begins in Germany today. Russia has completely captured the key Ukrainian city of Severodonetsk after weeks of fierce fighting. And now the news in detail. The International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking is being observed in Pakistan today. Like elsewhere in the world, the Prime Minister Mohammad Shahbaz Sharif, in his message on the International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking, has called for strengthening the action against drug abuse as illicit trafficking and drug abuse pose grave threats to the safety, health and welfare of communities. The Prime Minister on his Twitter handle said, "We affirm our commitment to proactively limit drug abuse and illicit trafficking." He said Pakistan is committed to fulfill its global commitments as the socio-economic impact of drug use on families, society and country is enormous. He said Pakistan has shown unwavering commitment in addressing the challenges stemming from illicit drugs and is working closely with the international organizations for this purpose. On the International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking today, Pakistan says the observance of this day manifests Islamabad's steadfast resolve for creating a drug-free society and world. The Foreign Office, in a statement today, said illicit drug production and its trafficking is a major problem in our neighborhood, and Pakistan has been at the forefront of the efforts to actively support the ongoing global and regional initiatives that aim to fight against drug production and trafficking. The Chief of the Army Staff, General Qamar Javed Bajwa, was conferred upon King Abdulaziz Medal of Excellence for making significant contributions in defence cooperation between Pakistan and Saudi Arabia. The Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman decorated the Army Chief the award in Jeddah today. The Army Chief, who is in Saudi Arabia on an official tour, called on the Crown Prince, Saudi Defence Minister General Fayad bin Hamd al-Rawali in Jeddah. During the meetings, matters of mutual interest, bilateral defence and security cooperation, as well as regional peace and stability were discussed. The Army Chief said Pakistan values its historical and brotherly relations with the kingdom and acknowledges its unique place in the Islamic world. Both the sides agreed upon enhancing defence cooperation in the fields of joint training, air defence, counter-terrorism, communications and information domain. They agreed to further enhance cordial relations and deep spirit of brotherhood into enduring strategic partnership, being vital players in the region with significant responsibility towards unity of the Muslim Ummah. The Prime Minister Mohammad Shahbaz Sharif has congratulated the Army Chief General Qamar Javed Bajwa on conferment of King Abdulaziz Medal for his contributions to strengthening defence ties between Pakistan and Saudi Arabia. In a tweet, he said it is a great honour for the people and the armed forces of Pakistan. The ambassador of the Republic of Kyrgyzstan to Pakistan, Olanbek Tutiev, has expressed the hope that CASA 1000 projects would be completed soon to meet Pakistan's energy needs and enhance the bilateral cooperation in this sector. Talking to the Associated Press of Pakistan, he said massive infrastructural project will be beneficial for all of its parties as it fulfills their energy needs and strengthen regional connectivity. He said nowadays the governments of participating states are actively working on the completion of the project. This is Radio Pakistan. The International Day in support of victims of torture is also being observed today to increase global awareness of the atrocities of torture. The United Nations in 1997 declared June 26 as the International Day in support of victims of torture. Use of torture is prohibited by the United Nations Convention Against Torture and Other Cruel, Inhumane, Degrading Treatment and Punishment, but many countries still employ methods of torture. The President, Dr. Arif Alvi, has urged the international community and human rights organizations to make all possible efforts to prevent torture and provide redress to the people of the Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir. In a message on the occasion of the International Day in support of victims of torture being observed today, the President said torture is a crime against humanity and the situation is particularly grim in the Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir, where the people are being subjected to brutal torture by the Indian security forces. He said torture remains unacceptable and unjustified at all times. Meanwhile, the All Parties Hurriyat Conference AJK chapter, in a letter to the international organizations on the occasion of the International Day in support of victims of torture, strongly condemned the worst atrocities being perpetrated on innocent civilians by the Indian forces in the illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir. In the Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir, the All Parties Hurriyat Conference has categorically rejected the Indian propaganda about the so-called normalcy in the Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir and reiterated its demand for the resolution of the Kashmir dispute as per the relevant resolutions of the United Nations Security Council. According to the Kashmir Media Service, the APHC, at an extraordinary meeting of its members in Srinagar today, maintained that the Kashmir dispute is not a matter of power sharing, but an issue of freedom of the Kashmiri people from India's illegal occupation. It denounced genocide, illegal detentions, desecration of the chastity of women, and vandalizing of houses and properties by the Indian occupational forces in the held territory. Meanwhile, the Russian forces have completely captured the key eastern city of Severodonetsk after weeks of fierce fighting. Russia's occupation of the city means that Russia now has full control over the Luhansk region and a large part of neighboring Donetsk. These two regions are collectively known as Donbass Industrial Area. The first day of the three-day annual summit of leaders of the Group of Seven is underway in Germany today. The German Chancellor Olaf Scholz and American President Joe Biden opened the summit with a bilateral meeting. The G7 leaders are also due to tackle climate change, with Germany pressing for the creation of a climate club to set practical targets for reducing emissions for the participating countries. He also highlighted the importance of tackling food security, partly by getting Ukrainian food products to the issue of global market and by supporting the European Union's partners that have been most hit by food shortages. 4 G7 countries, including the United Kingdom, the United States of America, Japan and Canada, announced a ban on Russian gold imports. And finally, the weather. Mainly hot and humid weather is expected in most parts of the country during the next 12 hours, while very hot conditions are likely in Upper Sindh and South Punjab. And that is the end of this news bulletin. For more news and analyses, log on to our website radio.gov.pk, and you can also watch the live video streaming of our bulletins on the link facebook.com/Radio Pakistan News official.